Hey, it's Tree, and I'm back for another video. I'm slowly getting used to this. The more I talk, the more I get used to it, and that's probably a good thing. I'm not very used to talking. Today, I spent an hour working on outfit references for Chapter 3 of Emery and Frankie, and finishing up the line art of Chapter 2, page 7. It's taken me a few days to finish this, but I feel like the coloring process will be a lot faster. I wasn't really used to drawing digitally just because I spent so much time recovering from wisdom teeth removal surgery, which we'll get into. But I feel like the more I work on comic pages, the more I'll get used to working digitally again, and then I'll pick up the pace again. Another thing I worked on today, I spent an hour drawing A Nightmare Before Christmas AU of Frankie and Zero, which included sketching, line art, and coloring, but I did not put the footage in this video, so I'll probably upload that footage another time just because it's an hour long of footage and I don't want to sit here talking for 20 minutes. I mean, I will, but not for one video, please no. So anyway, my wisdom teeth removal surgery. I started going to the dentist my junior year of high school, so 2015, when I was 18 years old. Just so you know, anytime I have to figure out my age or the year, I have to count backwards because I don't remember how old I was or when it was. But before I went to that dentist, I went to one with my health department, and they made it sound like I had a lot of cavities, and the one that they did filled really hurt still, so I didn't know what the problem was with that tooth. But we ended up going, and apparently I just had a lot of small cavities that they were easily able to fill in like 3 or 4 sessions, and they'd like numb your mouth, get the junk out. But whenever they would do this, every 6 months or so, they would x-ray my mouth to get a look in between the teeth. And basically those x-rays are like the light level of walking out in the sun or talking on a cell phone. So it's perfectly safe, but still expensive. And when they x-rayed my mouth, they noticed I had all 4 wisdom teeth, but the bottom 2, there was gaps in between them. And it took forever for me to get them removed, and it wasn't until they started hurting that I decided to get them removed. So basically, for a while, they'd only hurt if I brushed my mouth too hard, or anything like that. If I ate something hard, my wisdom teeth would hurt. And then October and November of this year, they just started hurting all the time, but I was just too scared to mention it. And when I finally did, we started the process of getting them removed. So they did another x-ray of my mouth when I was at the dentist, and basically the tooth on my right side was coming in slanted, and that's why my mouth was hurting so much. So when my uncle got his removed, he's in his 30s or 40s, he talked about how he would go in to get them removed, and then wake up hours later with no recollection of what happened. But that was not my experience. I went in 1 minute they're putting IVs and stuff in me, and then the next I was waking up and I was leaving the dentist's office. They had me in a wheelchair because I just couldn't walk on my own. But by the time I got home, I could walk just fine. We didn't have any gauze, so I had to wait for my nan to get home with more gauze. And basically I had the gauze coming out of my mouth a little, and it started dripping on me. But by the time they got home, I was able to take them out. And I slept so much after I got my wisdom teeth removed. And my mouth was still hurting, but now it doesn't hurt, so that's good. For the first few days, I didn't even want to run my tongue in that area just because it felt weird, and all I could eat was like pasta or jello. my favorite food to eat was Salisbury steak and mashed potatoes. Just because I could cut up the Salisbury steak and then eat them. And I would eat so slow. Usually I'm a fast eater. And that took me a while to get used to. I spent so many days just laying in my bed instead of sitting at my desk. And now I sit at my desk, but for a while it felt weird to sit at my desk. I did draw in my sketchbook, but if you're anything like me, if I spend a few days not working on digital art, it takes me a while to get back into it, and that's why I'm very slow at drawing right now. So after 5 days of having your wisdom teeth removed, you have to swish this stuff in your mouth, and that kind of hurt the first time, but after a while I got used to it. And then even now, I'm still having to use like a syringe to push water in my mouth just because food gets trapped where my wisdom teeth were. So yesterday I was feeling around in my mouth and there was still stitches, and that's not a good thing, so I had to pull them out. And basically, like, the stitches looked like dental floss, and it was the weirdest thing. And my mouth started hurting all over again. But basically, ever since I've been swishing that stuff in my mouth, I brush my teeth all the time after I eat. And then I'll use the syringe to push stuff out of my mouth. And basically, when I did that time, the stitches came loose. And if you don't pull them out, gunk gets stuck under there. And then once the gums heal, it gets infected. And that's not a good thing. But it was just the weirdest thing in my life that's happened so far. Bear in mind, I've been very lucky, and I haven't broken a single bone in my body. I haven't needed surgery for anything. So yeah, this is the weirdest experience for me. And it's kind of frustrating because apparently I'm gonna have to keep doing this for another 6 weeks. And by then, the gums will have, like, healed over the gaps in my mouth. So that's what happened to me during wisdom teeth removal. And maybe I'll give another update eventually, but as I said, it's still going on. It's December, so it won't be till around Martin Luther King Day that I'll maybe have my gums healed enough. And it's kind of funny because before I got my wisdom teeth removed, my cat had to go get spayed. So it's kind of like we were both healing at the same time. She didn't really give me that much trouble when she went to go get fixed. I went with like the animal shelter in my county to get it done, and they gave her like a small little line of a green tattoo, just so that way if she ever gets missing or something, they know she's been fixed. And that's the weirdest thing because my previous cat didn't have to have that. But I digress. But that was my wisdom teeth removal experience. If you've had yours done, let me know how that went. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Get your comic work done. Making comics is fun. And if you haven't started on your comic, get started on your comic. If you don't think your art's up to par to make a comic anyway. You will improve so much in between that time. But yeah, get your comics done, and I'll see you in the next video, which will probably be the process of my Nightmare Before Christmas Frankie picture.